Chat, we are so back. College football kickoff August 29th, and we got some juice for you guys today. We just got done watching SEC Media Days. As you know, it was Tuesday through Thursday, and we got some great information from it. We saw a killer speech from Will Stein and why he thinks he's the best coach in the SEC right now, coming from Oregon as the offensive coordinator. We had Lane Kiffin come up on stage and show some poise and some leadership. We had Pete Golden give us some gems. We're gonna get into every single one of those topics today. But first, we gotta start with the new SEC schedule, right? As you know, the SEC they switched over to playing 9 in-conference games, and that is actually insane. The more we look at these schedules, some of these teams have some gauntlets of a schedule in the SEC. Well, first, we're going to talk about Alabama. Alabama has a 3 game stretch where they play Georgia, Texas A&M, and Tennessee. All 3 of these teams are going to present different problems in different ways. You know, you got Georgia and Texas A&M, both with some top tier defense, both with different style quarterbacks, right? You got Gunnar Stockton over there at Georgia, who is a big body, great running quarterback, led the SEC last year in rushing touchdowns. And then you got Texas A&M, Marcel Reed, who can absolutely pick you apart on that offense. And then you got Tennessee, whoo, Josh Heupel and what he's doing with these quarterbacks over there. As you know, last year he had Joey Aguilar, if I'm not mistaken, and Tennessee's offense was electric. Last year they averaged 39 points a game, which was 6th in the FBS. They had 466 yards per game, which was 7th, and that was all carried by their passing yards. They averaged nearly 293 passing yards, almost 300 passing yards per game. Their running game was not that great, but you know, they have Deshaun Bishop. He's a returning running back for that team. He had over 1,000 yards last year. So I'm expecting Alabama to really struggle this year, especially with them not knowing who their starting quarterback is, whether that is going to be Keelan Russell or Austin Mack, right? Austin Mack, as you know, he's been in the offense this whole time. Keelan Russell, a 5-star recruit, absolutely mobile, absolutely crazy talent in Keelan Russell. So I'm expecting to see Austin early on in the end of the year, and then transition to the Keelan Russell once that offense gets settled in. Next, you got LSU, and their schedule's wild for a first year head coach at Lane Kiffin and the LSU offense. And his speech was very good. He said something that really resonated with me, and how his ability is to make an offense that's tailored to the players, right? There's no cookie cutter offense for Lane Kiffin. He is not going to take the offense from last year that he had at Ole Miss. He is going to kind of tailor it to whatever pieces he has and however well the team is going. And their first 3 games are going to be against Clemson, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. Do not expect that Clemson game to be easy. You know, Dabo Swinney, he is going to give Kiffin a hell of a time, right? We know I think that the first half of the season, LSU's defense is going to have to show up a major way like it did last year. I think that there might be some continuity issues for the LSU offense to start out the year, but by their last 4 games, they'll really kind of grab mold of what this full potential of this LSU team. Those last 4 games they play Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, and Arkansas. And it's going to be interesting those last 2 games against Tennessee and Arkansas as are the last 2, because both these teams are going to be able to kind of ruin LSU's season, right? Even if Tennessee or Arkansas are the playoff team, they're going to go out there and give it their absolute best, because that is going to be a Super Bowl game for them. They're going to come out and perform at the highest of their level to try to ruin LSU season. You got John Summerall over there in Florida, and did that man put on a show in his press conference. And the biggest thing for John Summerall that I was gathering is the strength and conditioning of his offensive and defensive line. He made a lot of good points around. He wants to improve not only the mental toughness, but the physical toughness of that line. He's a Florida boy. As you know, down there in Florida, they want to have big bodies along with some speed. So I'm excited to see their 5 game stretch is going to be Ole Miss, Mizzou, South Carolina, Texas, and Georgia, which are going to be some true testaments. Because if we go over those quarterbacks in those 5 games, he plays Trinidad Chambliss, Lenore Sellers, Arch Manning, and Gunnar Stockton. All 4 of those quarterbacks are completely different in so many different ways. So John Summerall is going to have an elite game plan for each and every single one of those games. But before we even get into that 5 game stretch, what is going to be very important for him is that week 3 game. That week 3, they play Auburn. They play against Alex Golish. Both John Summerall and Alex Golish are first year head coaches, and they're going to want to get that win under their belt, right? They're going to bring out the best performance. They're going to make sure that Byron Brown over there at Auburn, who transferred from South Carolina with his head coach Alex Golish, they're going to want to perform at a high level to kind of make a statement win of, hey, even though it's my first year, I'm here in the SEC and I want to win. And I want to win. And just watching how elegant these coaches talked during the SEC media games and the gems that they dropped, right? From the Kirby Smart speech where he's talking about what a winning culture look like and how these coaches have to wear different hats at a certain point in time, but he's able to switch hats and make sure that he's in the best place that he needs to be. You had Kellen DeBoer. Kellen DeBoer was getting absolutely grilled by the media talking about how he's going to try to improve the run game. What is he going to do? Who is the quarterback going to be? And I think Alabama going to SEC media days had the most questions, and they leave SEC media days with the most questions about their team as well, because Kellen DeBoer, he gave a lot of fluff talk, but he didn't really dive deep into the team. Yes, he talked about how many transfers that they had. Yes, he talked about how many new incoming freshmen, but he didn't really give any juice behind what is really going to happen to that team. We know that secondary is going to be strong behind Bray Hubbard, who was a first team All SEC DB last year. He had 80 tackles. He led the league in interceptions in the SEC with 4 of them. So we know that Alabama secondary is going to be strong, but can that offense produce, right? We know that Alabama defense is going to be good, but can that Alabama offense push down the field in late games when they need to? Shane Beamer, head coach of South Carolina, he's going to be with Lenore Sellers, and most of us thought that Shane Beamers would be out of a coaching job at the end of last year, but he is still there. Can he turn his season around, right? As you know, they blew that huge lead against Texas A&M last year, and they really never found their footing after that. So I believe that South Carolina, this is a make or break year for South Carolina, right? You got Lenore Sellers, you got a quarterback who is in his prime, who can perform at a very high level. Over there at South Carolina, and they really haven't done anything with them, right? They had a losing season last year. They haven't been 500 in a while, and they need to kind of take hold of what Brett Venables is doing over there at Oklahoma, right? You have a good defense, you have a good mobile quarterback like John Mateer. Brett Venables, he's got 2 10-win seasons in his last 4 seasons at Oklahoma. He's definitely taken Oklahoma to the playoffs, and you know Brett Venables is showing that he is in the SEC and he is here to stay, right? Some other question marks we have about these SEC teams. You got Arkansas, you got Mizzou. Mizzou, they're top 30 in defense every single year, but they cannot get the job done on offense. So what do they do to try to change the trajectory of that offense? They hired Chip Lindsey, a first year, who was their first year offensive coordinator. He was the OC at Auburn when they played in the SEC championship, right? So Chip Lindsey, he knows how to run an offense. He knows what gets the job done in all these different factions, right? And the SEC is very top heavy. And the main question that was asked from each and every single one of these coaches is who is going to bring a national title back to the SEC, right? You have 6 teams right now in the SEC with a higher chance than 40% to reach the national playoffs. You got Texas, 70%, Georgia, 64%, Alabama, 41%, LSU, 40%, Texas A&M at 39%. All these teams have high projections to go to the college football playoffs, but are they going to make a deep run like an Ole Miss did and then lost to Miami in the game before the national championship? So SEC has a lot of questions surrounding them right now, and how they show up to the bell is going to be answered in a major way, right? August 29th, the kickoff for college football. I am so excited. I am so ready to see it. I am ready to see who is going to win the Heisman Trophy. Of the 10 highest ranked Heisman finalists right now, 4 of them are in the SEC, right? If you go through the list of SEC quarterbacks, it is absolutely stacked like no other league. Byron Brown over there at Auburn, Sam Levitt over there at LSU, Gunnar Stockton over there at Georgia, Lenore Sellers out there at South Carolina, Arch Manning, Aaron Philo, who else we got? We got John Mateer, Trinidad Chambliss, Austin Simmons, right? You have all of these top tier quarterbacks who are going to play at an elite level every single game in the SEC, and how these coaches are going to respond on defense is going to be even crazier, right? It got so bad that even Lane Kiffin is during his press conference is talking about how he's going to prepare the defense. I don't even think the word defense has come out of Lane Kiffin's mouth before, because he is such an offensive minded genius. So I'm excited for the SEC. I'm excited to see what it got to bring. SEC Media Days is now in a complete wrap. It is over. Next week, Big Ten Media Days. Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, Oregon. All these coaches are going to be there giving press conferences and what they think their team is going to be able to accomplish this year. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more videos and to keep yourselves updated. Appreciate you guys. Until the next one.